Welcome to the 2023 SUS CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The Southeastern United States Canadian Provinces, or SUS CP Alliance, was established in 2007 to formally advance a common interest in enhancing economic ties between the two regions. The Alliance is a strategic trade and investment-focused partnership between 6 southeastern U.S. states and 6 Canadian provinces. This year's conference is focused on opportunities in the blue and green economies.
And welcome to the SUS CP 2023 podcast with Gale Force Winds. I'm Alan Dale. With me as always, my good buddy Jerry Crew. Well, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of discussions going on in the back rooms here at SUS CP. Business-to-business conversations happening, presentations being given by delegates from all across the network, and it's certainly exciting to see connections being made. So Nick, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yep, my name is Nick Lilley, and I'm an intern for Energy Transition Capital Management. We are a renewable energy-focused private equity firm investing in utility-scale solar assets in underserved communities. But for SUS, I'm here with MAI, Market Access International, helping out with the B2B business meetings.
So you're wearing multiple hats, obviously.
I try to, yeah. I'm an eager student trying to tap into the renewable energy space. So.
Okay, so Nick, based out of where?
Based out of, I live in Washington, D.C., in the area there, and then MAI is based in Atlanta, so kind of all over. And then I also grew up overseas in Amman, Jordan, and Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, so I love that international focus as well.
Wow, you got quite a background there, Nick.
Yeah, I'm used to it. It's the travel drug, so I'd love to go overseas for a career maybe sometime in the future, too.
Is that right? Tell me about the B2B aspect of the conference now. So you're putting that together? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how complex would that be to do with all of these various groups in town?
I think it's fascinating. Seeing the name tags, people walk by, everyone's very eager to be around people who are as passionate as they are about sustainability, especially in Newfoundland, and the opportunities here. It's not too much work, just matching companies that we think are a fit, and then from there, just watching the meetings happen. And we see a lot of smiling faces. People are happy with how it's been going so far.
You know, I was on the other end of the B2B program a number of years ago in Mobile, Alabama, and I can tell you that it works really well. You've got a knack there to see the connections between companies, and it's a very effective part of any conference, that B2B part.
No, it's essential, you're right. And it's great navigating the platform in which we can match these companies, reschedule if we have to. So.
Yeah, so you got to make it user-friendly, right, for the delegates that are coming. And,
exactly,
otherwise they miss the appointments and the like, right? Mm-hmm. And you never know, right? You get into one of those conversations, you just don't know where it's going to lead you. Tell me about the renewable energy side of your brain here right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I attend Williams College, which is in Massachusetts. It's a very small liberal arts college, and my focus is on Russian and economics. And then I am attempting to concentrate in environmental studies. So that's where I can gain that sustainability component. And throughout even high school, I had an interest in renewable energy because my time overseas really influenced my outlook, whether it was coal-fired power plants in Kyrgyzstan or maybe the opportunity for solar in a country in the desert like Amman, Jordan. It kind of really motivated me to go into that sector. So I think now I know that I want to leverage a financial skill set in the renewable energy space and then kind of tap that together and see what happens there.
I'm curious about your academic program. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I attend the liberal arts college, so I'm not an engineer by any trade. That was an option, but I think I chose to have a holistic background in college where I can take humanities courses as well as STEM courses and then really gain that broad view and exposure to the world through that. So I do Russian and economics, and I think Russian is more because of my time in Kyrgyzstan where I spoke Russian, and also with Russia's war in Ukraine. I think it's really a time to learn the language because you need to understand the various players, Putin, an enemy, and his role too. Maybe there's business opportunities in the future in that area. So.
And tell me, what are you hoping to gain out of SUS CP?
I think just expanding my network and also being around professionals who are not just confined to the energy space, because I know sustainability is not just confined to the energy industry, but also transportation, agriculture, ports here in St. John's, things like that. So I'd love to broaden my exposure to the people in that network.
And Nick, you told me as we walked towards the podcast booth here that this was your first time in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yes. Yeah.
What are your initial impressions of this beautiful place that we call home?
I think you just said it. It's beautiful. So going up to Signal Point, Signal Hill, and looking, we saw some whales the other day. May have been orcas or whales, but either way, it was beautiful. We went to Cape Spear over here.
You went out Cape Spear?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. And also the lighthouse. So it's been beautiful. I think tapping into the natural beauty here has been great coming out of the city and staying home from online work sometimes, as you know.
Nick, there's a deep connection between Newfoundland and the United States for going back many years. And during the war, there was 3, maybe 4 bases, I believe, in Newfoundland. So, yeah, there's a mutual respect. And I tell you one thing, you're a young man who you have things in a very good perspective, Alan, doesn't he? Huh?
Oh, no, 100%. I mean, your global approach to life is pretty impressive already, and your desire to continue that's wonderful. And I think that is kind of the key to the success of the future, right? That global mindset to say, how do we all collectively work here together, right? I mean, because I'm sure that you've noticed a challenge in Kazakhstan is not much different than a challenge.
Kyrgyzstan,
yeah.
Exactly.
Kyrgyzstan is not much different than a challenge in the United States, right?
Yeah.
People are people.
And going off that, I love the component where nowadays, for my generation, we're living in a society where you don't just maximize shareholder value and profit, but you can also do that while hopefully doing good for society. And so that's why the internship I'm focusing on can deliver energy to underserved communities while also generating a profit. And I think that equilibrium and balance point is really essential. And if more businesses can be like that, then that's a world I'd want to live in. So.
Nick, the internship that you're on, is that through your academic program, or is it just through your own desire to work with this group?
Through my own desire.
Yeah.
It's finance and private equity as coupled with renewable energy and battery storage. So I think that's a focus that I've had some prior experience in, and I wanted to continue that too.
Okay, they need more Nicks in the world. Is there many more fellas like you down there?
We're to each their own. I think I'm just riding my wave, and we'll see where it goes.
So, Nick, you're making connections here, and some of the private equity investors could potentially get knowledge from you. Is that part of what you're doing here as well?
Yeah, I think that primarily I'm with MAI, working with B2B business meetings, but I also see it as a networking opportunity to really talk about my internship, the company, and the product we offer, and to hopefully gain some traction there.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of secret sauce here in Newfoundland. The NASDAQ purchased a technology company here about 3 years ago for $3.5 billion. So we're no strangers to technology and resources and all of that. This province here is open for business, let me tell you. So don't forget us.
We won't.
Bring some of that private equity investment here, will you? We'd really appreciate it.
Definitely.
Nick's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thanks very much, and great work on the B2B aspect of SUS-CP. It's a vital component to it, and there's no doubt that your efforts are going to make some connections that are going to pay off down the road. Thanks.
Great. Thank you both so much.
Well done, mate. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the 2023 SUS-CP Conference, the Edge of Opportunity podcast from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. The 2024 conference is taking place in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we look forward to seeing you there.